Like this video right now or you're getting 13 years of bad luck.
Yo, what's good, y'all boys? It is your boy Splash and I'm back with another video. Now in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys the best sensitivity on controller for every single different playstyle in the game. I'm going to be going over the best sensitivity for competitive players, creative players, casual players, players who only play the no build mode, ZoneWars players, and arena players. Now the way that I'm going to compile every single sensitivity in the game is I'm going to use my own knowledge first of all, and I've played this game since it first came out. I'm also going to be checking out the controller sensitivity that the best creative warriors use, the best competitive players, the best arena players. I'm going to combine them for each section and then create the best sensitivity for you guys to try out and use for yourself and match your playstyle. Don't forget to check out my Call of Duty channel, the link is in the description. Also check out my Twitch. I'm gonna start streaming so much next week, so make sure y'all boys head over there. And I also have a new Twitter account because Twitter did ban my old Twitter for no reason, and it's pretty hard for me to get it back right now. So I have a new Twitter, so make sure you guys check it out too. And also leave in the comments what you guys want to see next. I'm thinking of making a video teaching you guys how to become a really good creative warrior. And just the best tips that I don't see many people putting on their videos on YouTube on how to improve in creative. So if you guys would like to see that, let me know. And drop any video ideas y'all want to see and I'll do it. Also, there's going to be timestamps in the video so you guys can skip to whatever controller sensitivity you want to watch. Or if you would like to watch the entire video, you can do that too. But yeah, enjoy the video, boys. Love y'all. Alright, so we're going to be starting off with the creative warrior sensitivities for controller. Now these sensitivities are going to be for those who want to be a really flashy, fast editing, fast building creative warrior. Those who do insane builds, super fast in fights and 1v1 battles. So these are going to be the sensitivity for you guys. Now the two people that I took these sensitivities from to combine into just one sensitivity setting is me and Faceway. Now I think both of us have similar playstyles. I think Faceway is a lot better than me, of course, I will always think that. However, I do believe we have pretty similar playstyles and that's why our sensitivities match perfect. Now there's of course a lot of creative warriors out there. However, the big ones, most of them quit the game, so it wouldn't be fair to put them if they're not updated sensitivities. And I also want to note out one quick thing. When you try these sensitivities out, don't base your first impressions on how it feels when you try them out for the first time. Because when you try any new sensitivities out for the first time, they're gonna feel weird. You gotta get used to them. You gotta play with them for a couple of hours, couple of days, and then you get used to it, and then you have your final thoughts on the sensitivities. So if I were you guys and you really want to become a really good creative warrior on controller, then I would highly recommend trying these sensitivities out and seeing it for yourself. So getting into the actual sensitivities, we're going to be using build mode and edit mode sensitivity multiplier 2.2 on both. 2.2 is pretty high, I'm not going to lie to you guys, but it is something that both me and Faceway use. This exact sensitivity 2.2 on both, and it's a perfect sensitivity for you guys who play creative a lot, because having a pretty high sensitivity multiplier is going to make you a lot faster when you build, so you're able to spin and do a lot more retakes faster and cover up when you fight and when you free build. So this is why having a high sensitivity multiplier is really good. Now horizontal speed and vertical speed are both going to be 42. Now me and Faceway play similar to this sensitivity here, right here, 42. We don't both play this. Faceway plays a bit higher and I play a bit higher as well. However, 42 will be combined the best sensitivity to match with the sensitivity multiplier above that I showed you guys being 2.2. And the most usual horizontal speed and vertical speed for controller players is usually between 41 up to 45 or even 46. So if you guys think that this might be a bit too slow for you, you can bump it up 2 or even 3 if you would like. Then moving on down here, as you guys can see, all the boosts are all off. Me and Sway and all the creative warriors that have really flashy playstyles, none of us use boosts. They are really off, and if you're using them and you have success with them, you can keep going, but I would recommend turning all of these off even if you're using them right now, because it's gonna mess up your builds. However, if you really use them and you really like them, you can of course keep them. Now let's take a look at ADS look and vertical speed. So the interesting thing about this one is that Faceway plays extremely high at 14, whilst I play at 7. So I thought, you know, in the middle will be perfect. So 10, even 11 would be good for you guys, but I would recommend having it on 10. So basically, if you don't know what ADS is, it's pretty simple. It's aim down sight. Basically, when you aim in with a shotgun, AR, sniper rifle, and you move around, that's the sensitivity for this. And it's always good to have it low, especially if you have controller drift, so your controller doesn't move around too much when you're doing it. And it's just good overall for good aim. Now, as you guys can see, all these boosts, ramp time, everything off at 0. And then me and Faceway, we play on linear settings. So basically, linear is going to make you a lot faster, smoother. Exponential is more for those who play, you know, arena, competitive mode. So yeah, aim assist strength 100, of course. And now we come into Deadzones. So this is pretty interesting. Faceway plays around 5.7 and I play 10 Deadzone. So around 6.8 would be the perfect match between us two. And this will be overall the best for you guys. Now I know 6 is pretty low, and a lot of people have stick drift out there. People don't want to buy a new controller, and if that's the case, I would move these two up to 9 and try these out. If this is too high for you, you can even move it to 11 and you should be good to go. They're not going to make it a huge difference. However, they're going to be making it a big difference in game when you're building. So you need to take in account that you have to practice it to improve and get consistent with it. But to those that would like to try mine and face weight sensitivities all in once, it will be 6-8, just as I have displayed it right here, and you should be good to go. Now for these sensitivities, it's going to be full control Deadzone 1%, and max throttle is going to be 50%. And then that's going to be basically for the creative sensitivities. Just keep in mind, boys, that y'all need to practice these sensitivities to improve. It's not going to be something that you're going to try out and instantly become crazy good. You might have luck and it might be the perfect sensitivity for you guys. But overall, these are the best sensitivity for creative warriors to use as of right now. Now we're going to be checking out the best ZoneWars sensitivity for controller players. And the two players, or the two people that I got to combine for these sensitivity, are Parm and G-Money. So two extremely good ZoneWars players and some of the best that we've ever seen in Fortnite. And they both have similar sensitivities, which is pretty interesting. They have almost exactly the same, but it's pretty close. So I was able to manage it and put it together. So these are going to be the best ZoneWars settings for you controller players that want to play ZoneWars and become really good. Now, as you guys can see, build mode sensitivity multiplier and edit mode sensitivity multiplier are completely different. They're not like with the creative warrior sensitivity like me and Sway, where they were 2.2, 2.2. Here it's 1.9 and 2.3. Now, the reason why it's 1.9 and 2.3 is because in ZoneWars, it's not important to have flashy builds. It's more important to be fast at editing and have good reaction time, because if you see a player really close to you, you need to be able to edit a wall, box him, piece control, you know, edit a window, shoot across the map. That's the type of playstyle that you need. So having a faster edit mode sensitivity is way more important than having a build mode that is way faster. So build mode has to be smooth and really controlled, not something that you guys can just, you know, fly around with, do creative builds. It has to be smooth and easy, whereas the edit mode has to be something really fast. So it's going to be 1.9 and 2.3. Look, horizontal and vertical speed are both going to be 43. Nothing crazy here. Of course, I always tell you guys the usual is between 42 and 45 for controller players, and as you guys can see here, it's going to be 43 on both of these. Now what's interesting with G-Money and Parm is that both of these guys use boost on turning, both of them. Now Parm uses 4.4 and G-Money uses 2.2. So the best one's going to be 3.3 on these. And if you're not playing with boost already, it's going to take some time to get used to, I'm not going to lie. But it's going to be worth it if you want to have a similar playstyle to those guys. And then boost ramp time is going to be 0 seconds. Instant boost when you're building is going to be on. So immediately when you build the boost, they're going to automatically activate. As soon as you start turning your character left, right, up, down, it's going to start immediately. ADS look horizontal and vertical speed are going to be 13. This is pretty high, yeah, they both have extremely high look horizontal and vertical speed. So here the perfect one is going to be 13. In ZoneWars, it's pretty important to obviously have fast aim and ADS, because when you're shooting somebody and you eliminate them, you might have to just scoop maybe 3 meters to the right with your AR already ADS'd. So that's why it's so important to have high ADS when you're a ZoneWars player. They have another boost on, so it's horizontal and vertical for turning. This one is going to be 1% of both of these. It's not going to be the most noticeable difference, but this is something that you guys need if you want to have a similar playstyle to these guys and be good at ZoneWars. So I would try both 1%. If you don't like it, you can try higher or try 0. It's up to you guys. Both of these guys play on linear. I've always said linear for creative. Whatever mode you play in creative, ZoneWars, free builds, this is going to be the one for you, because it just makes you an overall better fighter at 1v1s in creative and free builds. Mrs. strength is going to be 100%. And the dead zone is going to be really extremely high. So both of these guys play with high dead zone, and the reason they do that is because high dead zone equals to easier chances of hitting headshots with the pump shotgun. So when you're using the pump or any shotgun in the game, when you have really high dead zone, and what I mean by high is 10 plus, low would be around 5. So when you have high dead zone, it's really easy to control the aim and put it on people's head and then eliminate them or 180 them. So that's why having high is really good. Now they both have extremely high. However, 1440 will be the perfect to match both of these guys. And yeah, it will be the perfect dead zone for ZoneWars players on controller. And the full controller dead zone and full controller max throttle are both going to be 1% on these. They're not crazy. You can try different ones. It doesn't really matter. It's not an important setting that you're going to have to change and see a drastic, change in your playstyle. So it's going to be alright. But yeah, don't forget guys, you gotta play with these a lot and get consistent with them. You know, don't let your first impressions tell you what these mean, because it takes time to get used to new sense. So let's get into the next one. Alright, so now we're going to be checking out the best competitive controller sensitivity. So for these sensitivities, I took them and combined them from 2 controller players that I feel are really good. And not only are they good, but I think their sensitivities will match what you guys want to, you know, have when you play. Of course, there might be better controller players or worse. However, these 2 guys, I think their sensitivities are going to match with what you guys want as competitive players. So the first one is going to be Day, and then there's going to be Miro. So Day and Miro are both known and really good controller players in competitive game modes, and even in ZoneWars and everything else, they're just amazing controller players. So we're gonna go over the settings. They share a pretty similar, you know, sensitivity and controller setting layouts. So we're gonna be checking them out. So starting off, the build mode sensitivity multiplier is gonna be 2.0. So this is standard for competitive players. They always play less than, you know, creative warriors. Nothing crazy is going to be 2, because in competitive game modes, being able to build fast and, you know, doing, you know, 90s and just free builds is not really important. It's more important that you need to be able to just make quick boxes, piece control. So of course, build mode sensitivity multiplier is not going to be that high, so it's going to be 2.0. Edit mode is going to be higher, because in late end game you want to make sure that you're able to tarp fast, have fast edits, be able to make windows edits, just piecing people, you know, late game, early game. You can just, you know, think that for yourself. You know, it's important to be faster at editing in comp than being, you know, fast at building, because during late game, when most, you know, controller players and competitive players pop off, it's going to be through editing fast, and, you know, it's going to be a big factor. So look, horizontal and vertical speed is going to be 44, 44. And of course, nothing crazy. I always tell you guys between 42 and 45, 46 is going to be what every controller player has. So this is pretty good. And then everything else 0 on boost. Of course, boost on competitive game modes is something I don't recommend. Only in ZoneWars. It is look, horizontal and vertical speed 99. This is pretty low and slow. And it's really important to have this in competitive game modes. And just comp in general, because being able to hit your shots with the AR sniper and pump when you're ADSing, early game, late game, mid game, is going to be extremely important. So yeah, make sure you have 99, try it out. They both play linear, and linear is, of course, I always say maybe try exponential for comp, but these guys use linear, so I would recommend you guys using linear and see how it goes. Aim assist strength, of course, 100. And then dead zone, I would put 10-10 dead zone. I think this is the best for competitive game modes. I think this is the best for competitive in general, because it's not too low, too high. It's in the middle. It's going to make you smooth, fast, everything just in one package. So 10-10 dead zone is going to be the best for you guys who want to try out competitive sensitivities. And then 1% on these 2 for controller, max, throttle, and dead zone. Don't forget, when you try these sensitivities out, you gotta make sure that you really try them out and try them good. You go into arena and you try them maybe for an event, see how they do, and then give them your first impression and what you think. But yeah, let's get into the next sensitivity. Now we're going to get into an unusual category for sensitivity. It's going to be the no build mode sensitivity for controller players. So people who play no build and only focus on their aim, we're going to go over you guys' sensitivity we guys need to be using. Now for these sensitivity, I'm using my own experience with good aim and what I know of Fortnite and playing this game since it came out, because there's not really any known, you know, no build mode controller players out there. So I just combined all my knowledge to put out the best sensitivity for you guys, so you all hit your shots and always stay protected. So of course, build mode and edit mode doesn't matter, because you can't do neither of them. So it's only going to be up to the next house of sensitivities. So look horizontal, look vertical speed is 42, 42. Now this might seem a bit high, but it's perfect. It's pretty much low, because most controller players in every other category plays this. However, higher, it will be like around 43, 44, 45, 46 and above. 42 is usually low for this type of category, so I'll put 42, 42. Because even if you're playing a game mode where it only requires to have good aim and stick move around, it would be important to not have it too slow, because that way, if you get shot in the back, you need to, you know, spin around and be quickly able to, you know, counter. So it would be important to have 42 on both of these. Everything else 0% on the boost, doesn't matter. ADS, horizontal vertical speed is going to be 14, 14. This is high. This is going to make you, you know, a little bit slower, and this is perfect because you're relying on your aim and you're ADSing. So you're going to be ADSing a lot more than you would build, of course, because you don't build in this game mode. So 14% is going to give you the best precision when you're aiming down sight, and it's going to give you the best chances of hitting somebody in the head, or, you know, doing less damage to the body than the head. And then we're going to be using exponential. So exponential gives you more position in game. So when you move your stick, it's not going to be as responsive as linear, and that's going to be an advantage for you who play no build mode. It's going to give you way better movement for strictly aim and no build. So if you want better aim, this is going to be extremely important. This could take a bit to get used to because it's a bit slower, it's a bit more stiff in game, so I would recommend you taking time with this and learning it. And then dead zone is going to be 13-13. I think this is perfect. Dead zone, it's pretty slow, not fast, you know, that's what you need, of course, good aim. So yeah, 13% should be the best for you guys who want to use this. And then it's going to be 1% on both these, controller and max throttle and dead zone. Now of course no build mode is pretty fun, and it gives you an OG, you know, type of vibe to other games, first shooters. So yeah, I would recommend you guys trying these out. And yeah, let's get into the next sense. Now we're going to be going over the simple settings for people that only play pubs, that don't care about flashy builds, that don't care about, you know, these extreme things that creative warriors, competitive players and zoner players do. So these are going to be pretty basic, simple settings for you guys to try out who play pubs and don't care about anything else in the game. So we're going to do edit and build mode sensitivity multiplier is going to be 1.6, 1.6. So this is pretty low and standard for, you know, casual players that don't really want to try too hard to the next level. So 1.6 on both of these is going to be perfect for you. It's going to be slow, steady and smooth, which is what most casual players are looking for. Look horizontal and look vertical speed is going to be 43, 43. Even though this is for casual players and pub players, I still recommend people to have this type of range in you know, horizontal and vertical speed because it's really important. That's why I always recommend controller players, whatever game that you play, always have between 42 to 46 on look horizontal and look vertical speed. It's really important. Boost, we're going to have 0 on all of these because it's going to give you guys some confusion when you play and it's not something you want. ADS look horizontal and ADS look vertical speed is going to be 15 on both. It's pretty high. It's going to make your ADS aim a bit slower, a bit more smooth. So, you know, it's going to help you guys, you know, shoot from range, and close up is going to be a bit harder, but it's going to match your playstyle a lot with the build mode and edit mode sensitivity. So 50-50 is going to be perfect. 0 on everything else regarding boost. And then we're going to be using exponential settings. So exponential settings for casual players is perfect. This is not going to be anything extreme. It's going to give you good aim, smooth builds at the end of the day. But of course at the beginning when you start using these, it's going to be really stiff for you. So you need to get used to the exponential playstyle, and then you're gonna be a bit more smooth towards the end when you're perfected it. Dead zone 11-11, pretty straightforward, nothing crazy. You know, it's gonna be pretty slow, not too fast, just what casual players need. And yeah, it's gonna provide everything you need in building and editing and shooting and aiming and everything in general. And then for controller, dead zone and max throttle, nothing too crazy, 1% on both of these. And yeah, you should be good to go with that. Of course, try these settings out. And you know, you gotta practice it a lot and then give them your first impressions, because when you're using them for the first time they might be a bit weird. However, after a couple of hours playing, you might get used to them, you might like them. Now the final sensitivity that we're going to be looking at is sensitivity for arena players. So what I mean by arena players is those who play arena, go for clips, play really aggressive, fights a lot, box fights, you know, a lot of fighting, always intense, high kill games. All of that, these are the sensitivities for you, and these sensitivities are going to be pretty good. So build mode and edit mode sensitivity multiplier is going to be 2.1, 2.1. It's going to be fast, quick, you know, always in fights. So you need to have both these pretty high at 2.1. And then want to have 42, 42 on vertical and horizontal speed. Why I have 42 on these, it's pretty low, but in arena I think it will give you the best time to respond to fights, you know, look through the map. I think this is overall the best for arena players. Boost, everything is going to be 0 because I think it just is a bit confusing, especially in arena and when you have fights and you don't want to risk, you know, spinning too fast or moving a bit too, you know, wobbly. Then ADS look horizontal and vertical speed 12-12 is pretty high. However, I think this is going to be the best for arena, since you're not ADSing really when you're fighting close up. So mostly when you're going to be ADSing is when you shoot from range and trying to hit some high, headshots, some body shots. So having a high aim down sight is going to be perfect for you arena players. And every single boost here is going to be 0. We're going to be using linear because linear in arena I think is really good. There is also an option for exponential and I do recommend it, but the thing I recommend more is linear. I think linear is overall a little bit better in fights and in like really close up fights, where you're gonna have to be really mechanically good to beat your opponent, because in arena it's not really like competitive game modes. In competitive game modes there's a lot of players alive, so you really can't show off too many mechanics and fights. It's mostly surrounding aim and simple piece control. However, in arena it's gonna be a lot of mechanical fights, and you're gonna just have to be your opponent on that mostly. 8-8 dead zone is gonna be fast. If you have a lot of drift, bump this up to 10-10. Other than that, you should be good to go. If you guys did go ahead to enjoy the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and notifications turned on. Don't forget to check out my Call of Duty channel, boys. I'm telling you boys right now, when I start posting on that channel, content is gonna come to that channel a lot. I'm loving the new Call of Duty, and I'm gonna keep on playing it, and Warzone 2 and everything is gonna be crazy. So if y'all boys want to check it out, please go ahead and subscribe. Also check out my Twitch, link is in the description. I'm gonna start streaming Modern Warfare 2, Overwatch 2 a lot. Sometimes Fortnite, not that much, but sometimes. And also check out my new Twitter and follow it if you haven't already. And also, if you came this far into the video, comment GOAT. I want to see who made it this far, who's a loyal subscriber of mine, who wants to improve the most. So make sure y'all boys go ahead and comment GOAT. But yeah, I'll see y'all boys in the next one. Take care. Peace out.